Dear children, let me discuss the blueprint of Class 7 Science Term 1 examination. The format of assessment is as follows. Term 1 assessment has been divided into two parts, objective type paper and subjective type paper. The objective type paper will be of 40 marks. It will be taken through Google Forms and the timing will be from 8:30 a.m. to 9:30 a.m. The subjective type paper will also be of 40 marks and the timings will be from 10 a.m. to 11:30 a.m. Now let me discuss the pattern of both the papers. Objective type paper, which will be of 40 marks, will be taken through Google Form. It will consist of 30 questions or 30 MCQs. There'll be 20 questions, that is MCQs, of 1 mark each, and there'll be 10 MCQs of 2 marks each. So the total will be 40 marks. These 10 MCQs, which will be of 2 marks, will be application based questions. Now let us see the pattern of subjective type paper. The pattern of subjective type paper is as follows. It will be of 40 marks. There'll be 13 questions in all. 3 questions will be of 2 marks, 8 questions of 3 marks, and 2 questions of 5 marks. Let me tell you the weightage of each and every chapter. The weightage is as follows. Nutrition in living organisms plants has a weightage of 7 marks. Nutrition in living organisms, animals and man also has a weightage of 7 marks. Chemical substances and processes 10, acids, bases and salts 9, heat 13, motion and time 11, respiration in organisms 7, electric charges at rest 9, forest 7, and the total examination is of 80 marks. Now let me discuss the blueprint of the paper. The objective type paper is going to have 1 mark MCQs as well as 2 mark MCQs. The subjective paper will have 2 markers, 3 markers, and 5 markers. Let me take examples of few chapters. Nutrition in living organisms plants. Children, the number given in the bracket is denoting the number of questions, and the number outside the bracket is the number of marks of each question. So, if we talk about nutrition in living organisms plants, in the objective type paper, there will be 2 questions of 1 mark, 1 question of 2 marks. So, in the objective type paper, there will be 3 questions coming from this chapter. If we look at the subjective type paper, there will be 1 question of 3 marks from this chapter. So the total weightage of this chapter becomes 7 and there will be 4 questions in all from this chapter in the objective and subjective type paper. Let me take few more examples. Let me take example of the chapter heat. In the objective type paper, there will be 3 questions of 1 mark and 1 question of 2 marks. So there will be 4 questions in the objective type paper from this chapter. In the subjective type paper, there will be 1 question of 3 marks and 1 question of 5 marks from this chapter. So there will be 6 questions in all from this chapter and the total weightage of this chapter is 13. Let me take example of forests. In the objective type paper, there will be 2 questions of 1 mark, 1 question of 2 marks. So there will be 3 questions in all from this chapter in the objective type paper. However, in the subjective type paper, there will be just 1 question of 3 marks. So the weightage becomes 7 and there will be 4 questions in all from this chapter. Let us see the total. There will be 20 questions of 1 mark in the objective type paper. There will be 10 questions of 2 marks in the objective type paper. So the maximum number of marks for objective type paper becomes 40. And there will be 30 questions in all in the objective type paper. However, in the subjective type paper, there will be 3 plus 8 plus 2, that is 13 questions, and the subjective paper will also be of 40 marks. The total paper of term 1 science will be of 80 marks. There will be 43 questions in all. So, all the best, children, for your exam.